Fortnite's new mode, which does appear to be more of a blatant ripoff than Call of Duty's Double Agent mode, which is probably why we haven't heard much about it. Because have you seen the map for the Fortnite game mode?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
literally looks like an Among Us map. Like it literally like it's there, right?
Yeah. To me, it's just when Epic started this lawsuit against Apple, it was all about how Apple had anti-competitive practices. They couldn't compete with the App Store, etc. They were looking out for
Epic
the
just
little
wanted to
guy.
protect the little guy, right?
Well, and to be fair, I do think that there is some good that is going to come out of this lawsuit, not only
Mm-hmm.
with Apple, but with Google and how they operate their app stores. However, Epic is a money sucking machine. They do not care about the little guy at all in the slightest. All they care about is how to continue padding their wallets. I would even go so far as to suggest, without knowing, that much like Blizzard, Epic will be in a similar place 10 years from now, in that they will have these scandals that have been brought on by their overwhelming success and favoritism of the
Well,
gaming population.
you would think that if you're a development lead at a studio with everything that's gone on, Blizzard, Activision, all that, you would think you would be like really looking at your team and going, okay, who has skeletons? Because this is not going to be us.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but the dude that runs Epic,
Tim Sweeney.
Jeffrey Dahmer, yes. I'm just, yeah, that's probably judgmental and just a joke for our listeners, but just throwing that out there.
Just
There
the
seems to be a resemblance.
the stones to rip off. Okay, how many developers have to be working on Fortnite from Epic to pump out the amount of content that they do, right? Just think about that. The astronomical amount of people they have to have working at developing that game to pump out everything, right? And then to add insult to injury, Fortnite's thing, like what they're known for is their collaborations, right? They collaborated with Marvel, with Disney, with everyone. Rick and Morty. Literally everyone. They've collaborated with everyone. And all those folks have, I'm sure, had some sort of like monetary benefit from that relationship, right? You have a studio of 7 people that they just went, I'm gonna copy your homework, and I'm also basically not gonna change anything. Are you cool with that?
So this is from 2018, which is kind of at the height of Fortnite's popularity. So we'll keep that in mind. But the majority of the studio's 700 employees were working on Fortnite.
So a measly
700 employees
a
could not
measly
come up with new content without stealing from Among Us.
so a measly 700 people to stealing. The thing is too is Innersloth being a smaller development studio with 7 people. Like they came out and basically said like, "Oh, we would have loved to collab, with Epic on this and have, brought something to the game mode and be that like an Among Us skin or something like that, right? Like for the characters." And that would have been like a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship, riding off the hype of those two games. Epic literally just said they only have 7 people working for them, and one of those 7 people isn't even a lawyer. I got like 32 of those in the broom closet. Let's just take it.
Epic does not care about anyone but themselves and their own wallets. If you are a regular employee at Epic, that doesn't apply to you. I'm talking to the people at the top.
That's
They
fair.
don't care. They don't care. So, and I mean, that's pretty standard in companies,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
absolutely.
pretty standard. So I'm not trying to point them out as to be worse than others, but I don't know. Like to me, Of course, you know me that I've always been a bit of an Apple fanboy. What I like about Apple is although some of those practices are definitely anti-competition, it has its own privacy ecosystem, and I'm okay with that. Now, if they wanted to allow Epic to run a store outside of that, I don't really care about that either.
Well, let's
It
see.
doesn't bother me, but they're not doing this for the little guy. They're doing it because it's impacting their ability to sell skins on iOS.
So there's another lawsuit that Apple's involved in right now, and it's along similar lines to the Epic. It's a different avenue, but it's along similar lines. So I just heard about this today on TechLinked, one of the Linus Media Group YouTube channels. I was watching their Tech Quickie. It's a really good show. Check it out. It's really informative. But they were saying there was a guy basically making an accessibility app for, I believe, blind folks to use an iPhone, right? Like a text to speech accessibility
Yeah.
function app.
Okay.
And Apple tried buying it from him, and so he didn't sell it. And then after not selling his app to Apple, they repeatedly denied his updates to the Apple Store to the point where the app becomes like non-functioning on newer devices. So he's now taking them to court for anti-consumer practices.
And in that case, Apple definitely deserves it because that's Apple
If
not
he
caring
can,
about the
if
little
he can
guy.
prove that, if he can prove that he was getting regular update approvals until they tried
Right.
purchasing the app, and then suddenly like none of his updates are getting approved. I,
Right.
I mean, he might have a case. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll save that for the legal channels. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because if you look at all the tech companies, they're all just like they're trying to just get as much of the pie as they possibly can. Like it's never enough. It's never
Absolutely,
enough. Did you hear
absolutely.
did you hear Lizard Man Zuckerberg talking about the metaverse? Is that what he was calling it? Was that what he was calling it? He's talking about the next stage of the internet, basically, in that everything will be in VR and AR.
I mean, is that where Facebook is going? And so they assume
Yes,
like
yes, yes.
they just assume the internet will follow suit.
No, I guess I don't know. I mean,
Well, I think that's cool. I think that's a cool idea, but you also have to look at there have to be efficient implementations to make that something that is a reality to you. Like we Google Glass and all that stuff was out or like advertised as coming soon, like over a decade ago at this point. But you really need to see, like, you and I both wear glasses, right? It would have to become almost a standard for your glasses to be able to display things to you. You know what I mean? Like, there's a company that does that
yeah.
right now. There's a specialized company that does that. You can buy
Mhm.
like Jarvis, like Iron Man Jarvis glasses. Like you can Google search things. It gets displayed. Only you can see what you're looking at because of the way it's displayed into your retina. Like on the outside of your glasses, you can't see the image. It was on a Linus Tech Tips video like last year sometime. But that technology exists. But it's one company doing it, right? And it's very niche. So until you can walk into like America's Eyewear and it's standard to get a pair of glasses like with that technology, or like there's a standard use case like you're using Google Maps and you're walking with your phone, to have like the actual street up in front of you, like until that's commonplace, that technology isn't going to take over.
You know what I want? I want a company that will sell me a real, fully functioning Mjolnir Spartan suit from Halo. I literally want to be 7 foot tall with body armor, energy shields, and a heads up display on my, glorified motorcycle helmet screen.
This is going to turn into people working from home going to work at their virtual metaverse offices. They've got to put on a fucking VR helmet and like suit up, sit down on the couch, and like get on the bus on their way to virtual work, and then walk into their virtual office by the virtual water cooler. Tell virtual Marge he doesn't want to talk to her right now and block her. Marge is now
Jokes,
just
jokes on you, America. You wanted to work from home? Introducing virtual reality commuting.
just take the worst aspects of actually going to work and make it intrinsic to working from home virtually. Like, you don't like commuting? Well, have fun sitting on a bus still for 45 minutes with your VR headset on.
Wouldn't
Oh,
it be?
your
Wouldn't it be
cell phone
nuts?
doesn't have signal today.
Wouldn't it be nuts if they just literally like the metaverse, right? If it was a literal world, no fast travel, you still had to walk, ride, drive everywhere you went, but you were doing it in a virtual space.
So I know you're not super big on anime or anything like that, but have you ever heard of Sword Art Online?
Yeah, never watched
So
it.
it's actually I never watched it. I ended up watching all of it like a few weekends ago. So the premise is like 10,000 gamers log into this game. It's like a new release. It'd be like when the Xbox Series X came out if you could buy one, right? And the games are played through these like VR headsets. You put it in and it's a full immersion VR experience, like you physically are in the world. You're not like handling a controller or anything, like you are in the world. 10,000 people get sucked in, and then the game creator's like, lol, you're trapped. You can't log out. If you die here, you die in real life. So try not to die. And then the time span of the show is like a few years that people are in this game, right? And like they keep them alive. Literally, like all the people that are in the game still alive are in hospitals, like on life support, like just literally keeping them alive while they're in this game.
This sounds just like Hack Sign.
Like Hack
Did-
Sign? I'm not
yeah,
familiar.
you never seen it's dot hack slash sign something like that. I'll send you the link afterwards.
I'll have to check it
But
out.
dude, I'm telling you, man, like this sounds just like that show. I
It
don't
was a
know
it
how
was a
I don't
really
know
good
how
show.
old Sword Art Online was, but to be fair, dot hack was it had the same idea, but I don't think it was a very good show. So Sword Art Online may be an improvement
Hmm.
from that. But
But like
yeah, I mean,
that
a
show
lot
is
of a lot
similar.
of these ideas have been covered
Yeah.
by media, but it's just a matter of time before it's actually a reality.
Yeah, like I wonder what that'll look like in practice for like for the
Yeah,
metaverse like AR
I
thing.
I don't
Like
know. I
like for companies that have large organizations, right? Like if you need to have all your corporate heads meet in an area, all right, everyone we're meeting now, everyone like puts on their like little headsets and then meet in their virtual boardroom and like discuss. You know what I mean?
Did you see that? Did you ever watch Black Mirror?
No, I've never watched. I know it
You,
covers like a variety. There's a variety with that show, but I've never
yeah.
watched it.
Well, it's really an anthology series, right? So
Hmm.
mm, I shouldn't say it's self-contained because they have done episodes that clearly link different episodes to each other. So it's I think technically considered like in the same universe, but the timelines are
Hmm.
scattered. As far as when the episodes take place, it's not linear at all. But there was one in particular that was based on social media and really kind of like AR type stuff. Like people could just, if I remember right, I could be making this completely up, but I think they could, like they could just pull a HUD up and they could basically rate people, like a Yelp review. So I could go up to Total Sunbro and be like, ugh, 1 star. And based on your cumulative ratings that people gave you, and I'm talking like you could go into Starbucks and be a complete tool, and the barista's like, ugh, 1. Okay. It determined the class that you were considered in life because people could always see your rating. So this girl went
So
from
they'd be
being like
like,
a 4 star, but she had like a really, really bad day. And by the end of it, she was like a 1 star. And, she lost her job, she lost her friends, family, etc. And it was, like a really interesting take. And I could see, like, it seemed a little exaggerated, but I could see life and social
Well,
networking going in that direction.
there are I don't know what's going on in mainland China, like, but there have been reports that China is already implementing like a social credit um sort of system and assigning you like basically a social behavioral scorecard, and if you score too low, um
You end
things
up in a
become
concentration
unavailable.
camp.
Well, at the end of the day, probably. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Again, I
mean,
don't know what goes on
that's
in mainland China, but the report that I remember reading was like, you might not be allowed on public transit. You might not be able to, get a job at some places, things like that.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan. But speaking of not being a fan of things, so I streamed Hunt Showdown earlier today,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, that was a bad, bad, bad time. It was full of hackers today. It was full. So I played with a group of randos that I met in the Hunt Discord channel for probably like 5 or 6 games,
Uh huh.
and we were doing okay, but they could never clutch up a fight, right?
Yeah, that
So
happens.
then I got on with some of the regulars that you and I both know,
Okay.
and I mean we were rolling, man. Like we were in tune. At one point in particular, we got into a gunfight. Panda and I went down, and it's Kenji remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He clutched up.
Kenji revives both of us, and then we wipe the rest of the map in that same location. The rest of the server was in that same area, and
That's
we killed
satisfying.
everybody. It
That's
was like
always
six
satisfying.
people in a row, 6 people in a row, right? And
That's
and we
aggressive for that game. It's
went,
not a
yeah,
forgiving game.
went and got the grand slam. Got both bounties done, and it was great. And dude, I was sitting there eating Taco Bell for half the game because we wiped the whole server. So I'm just sitting there, like eating gorditas, celebrating, right? And anyway, that was the last good game we had all day. After that, we're sitting on a rooftop of Ironworks on one of the maps, which Ironworks has like an L-shaped building, and then to the north of it there is kind of a river, light woods, and then a bridge over here.
Hmm.
So this team is got one going on the bridge, one going on the roof of the bridge, and one crossing the river. So I pop the guy inside the bridge. He pulls back. I pop the guy on the roof 3 times. Okay, with a Mosin. So 2 shot kill gun, shot him 3 times. And I'm not saying that I shot him once and then, it was a while before I saw him. He was running on the roof. I literally could not miss him. I hit him 3 times back to back. Boom, boom, boom. Did not die. That dude snaps onto Kenji, one shots him. Snaps onto me, takes me down to like 5%. So then at that point, we necroed Kenji up, and then we just extracted, man. But there were so many games like that. Like all day long, I was getting one-shotted by Caldwell conversion revolvers. You're talking, you got 150. I got 150 health, and I get shot by a gun that does 120 damage, and it one-shots me.
Now, why do you think? So what do you? So some people, it's hard to ask what their motivations are, right? Because you see cheaters in Destiny 2 and Call of Duty, and like both Call of Duty and Destiny 2, their respective developers have come out and said recently like we're going to double down on anti-cheat. Like clearly we need to, right? But it's always like a losing battle going up against these people that are developing cheats, right? But what is the benefit to cheating in a game like Hunt Showdown?
I think they're just tired of getting dunked on, dude. I think it's players that inherently are not as good as they want to be at the game. So when they play it, they don't have a good time. So the only way that they feel like they can level the playing field is with an aimbot or infinite health or whatever. I think
That's
that's
small
really what
PP
it is.
energy.
I think that's really what it is, though. And like I guess, especially in a game like Warzone, I can almost empathize with people that decide to hack in that game if they have put in, months and months and months of gameplay and they've got like a point 0.5 KD and they really want to play the game and they just
Okay,
cannot get anything on it
let me
because they're
let me
getting
stop you
wasted.
there. I
Hold
am
on.
bad
No,
at
no, no,
video
no, 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 no,
games.
no, 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 no.
I am
Hold on.
bad at video games, and
Hold
I have a
on.
positive KD in Call of Duty.
Warzone?
It's like a
No, you
point
don't.
8. It's
No, you
like a
don't.
point
No,
8.
that's literally negative. That's
No,
literally negative.
no, that's just kill death. If you count assists,
Let
it's
let
positive. It's
let
like a 1.2.
let
It's
me
like a
just say
1.2 with kill
you're
death and
probably one of the
assists.
people that need an aimbot in that game because everybody else has got one. So I'm just saying. But anyway, I don't support cheating. I would never do it. When I say empathize with people, what I mean is that they suck so bad at the game that they feel like they have to do this in order to get what they need to get from their money for buying the game.
Well, you don't buy Warzone. It's free.
Most people bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
That's fair. Um, it's just such a. I want to see developers really crack down on people, and I wouldn't be upset to see like a standard for having to link an SMS device, a cell phone, to a free to play account. Like for these free to play games, you should have to link a cell phone. Not like, and there are ways to detect whether it's a real cell phone or like a Google phone number. Like there are definitely ways to detect that because I've had like when I was selling insurance, I had a Google phone number that I'd use for business because I didn't want people calling my like actual number once I was like done dealing with them for the day. But there would be use cases where applications won't accept that Google phone number. Like you go to create an account and like verify it on like Google, even Gmail, right? Or Outlook, and they'll recognize that that's a internet phone number or like a digital phone number, and they won't allow you to use that for verification. Games should literally do the same thing. When you ban someone for cheating, it should be an IP, a hardware, and an SMS linked ban. All three of them.
So they're adding anti-cheat to Warzone at the end of this year.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about with Destiny and Call of Duty, like actually getting anti cheat.
Yeah, they just need to be like Riot and just demand kernel access.
So many people are like, you can't have kernel access. Like, and people get nervous about the kernel access because if there's a vulnerability in the kernel level anti cheat, people can sideload malicious viruses, malware, etc., onto your computer prior to boot. Like it's literally at the lowest level.
That shit's happening anyway.
Fair. I have Riot. I have Riot Vanguard on my computer. I don't fucking give a shit.
I deleted it. I don't like Valorant, man. There's nothing that I like about Valorant.
It was fun the first few times I played it.
I would expect you to like it because you like Overwatch, and it's like Overwatch if you turned it into a walking
CS:GO Overwatch.
Yeah, pretty much. That's basically what it is. So we're over here giving Epic Games a hard time for ripping somebody off. Jeez, I mean, Riot ripped off 2 games.
Yeah, but like,
but Riot, I guess to be fair,
Riot ripping off
Blizzard kind of ripped off League of Legends. So
all things pan out.
Yeah.
So
anyway, what you been playing?
I was literally getting ready to say, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy. I'm almost max level on my Gunbreaker. I am.
I feel like you told me this last time.
No. I have made progress. I am 78 out of 80. I'm still working on my crafting stuff. I just got over 100k total health. Feels good. I think by the time I hit 80 and I get end game gear, I should have around 120 or 130k health, which is what I'm planning for my tank. but I want to have a tank, a healer, and a DPS, and my crafting classes max level before Endwalker releases in December. And I'm right now I'm in the post game for Stormblood, which is the second expansion. And then I have one more expansion, Shadowbringers, to move through, which is like what's out currently is Shadowbringers. And so the way they release it is there's a main DLC drop, and then that's a year's worth of content. And then they have an annual drop that and then for the post game, that's the second year. And then every like 3 or 4 months they drop some content. And you play that for a little bit. I'm looking forward to being caught up on the game so that I can play it and get what I want out of it, and then play other games without like trying to catch up or like fear of missing out or anything like that. Because right now I'm trying to catch up. Um, but I haven't minded the grind. I've got like at this point probably 300 or 400 hours into the game.
Did you see that Ninja has been playing a ton of Final Fantasy 11? 11 is the original Final Fantasy MMO that we talked about a while ago. Remember that?
Yeah,
And
why would she
and
play that and not 14?
no, Ninja.
Oh, Ninja.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Ninja,
thought you were talking about our
Ninja.
Ninja.
No,
Why?
Ninja. I don't know.
How
Guess he
many
just
people
wanted to
are
play
still
it.
playing Final Fantasy 11?
Some journalist on Dexerto and I think Kotaku copied an article or whatever it was roasting him for his extreme lack of viewership. But the one thing about Ninja, regardless of whether you like him, the dude's probably got
He's
like
set for life.
50, 60, 70 million dollars in the bank from all the money that he's made over the years, all of his investments
Easily.
that I'm sure he doesn't.
Well, you've got to
He's
think
basically retired.
he walked away from Mixer with $30 million in hand for
Yeah,
changing platforms for a year.
not even.
Not
Was it even
8
a year?
months.
It was
It
8
was like
months.
8 months. Imagine just casually like signing a contract and then
Yeah.
8 months later, like, well, we'd
So
like you to go to Facebook, but you can go wherever you want. And
yeah.
and I still get paid? Yeah, you're gonna get paid regardless. All right, I'm going back to Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the dude's basically retired. I mean,
It seems like
so
Facebook might be backing off of their trying to sign content creators. So, a PvP content creator that I follow, True Vanguard, he hasn't explicitly said anything, but he is no longer streaming on Facebook Gaming, and I'm assuming that's because they didn't want to pay for his exclusivity again. So he's back on. He's testing the waters between YouTube and Twitch right now. But I wonder if Facebook is going to be, if this is telling that Facebook might be trying to pivot away from that.
well, I think that if we've learned anything from the Mixer experience is that paying for exclusivity doesn't do much. Really, it's only something that works for Twitch to prevent people from leaving and taking contracts with the smaller ones.
But I
You
don't
know,
think Twitch even pays for the last big
yeah, they
exclusivity
do.
deal I heard was Doctor Disrespect, and we all know how that went.
No, Shroud and Ninja both got new exclusivity deals when they came back, and
Really?
Logic, the music artist, got an exclusive deal. There have been some others. Yeah. Probably, I mean, as far as like high profile notoriety, those are the biggest ones. But
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
I was unaware.
so that was a big theory about why the dot got banned. I don't know how much we've talked about this and how much you know about it, but what a lot of people are saying is
Once Mixer
when
folded, they didn't want to pay his
well,
7-figure contract
well,
out.
well, hold on. So they're saying that Twitch absorbed some of the Mixer employees when Mixer dissolved. And they were under the impression that Dr. Disrespect had an offer from Mixer. And he used that offer to negotiate an offer from Twitch. Allegedly, this was from one of the
Ooh.
guys that worked on Call of Duty. So I don't know if it's true or not because he kind of got canceled on the internet. I don't know,
So it's
but
all alleged.
allegedly, these employees from Mixer came over and said we literally had nothing on the table for him. And then at that point, that's when you notice the ban happened about a week, 2 weeks, or something like that after Mixer shut down.
Hmm.
And then a month later, Ninja and Shroud announced their exclusivity contract. So the thought process is they canceled his contract based on, deceptive business practices and then used that money to invest in bringing their golden children back.
Man, Ninja really lucked out that year, last year. You gotta think, man. Like, seriously, like, he's still getting paid sub and I'm sure. He has. I know he has a Red Bull sponsorship. I'm assuming he has other sponsorships.
Yeah, I think Adderall sponsors him.
And you got to think, what's insane is those large creators, like when Apex Legends first released, I think Ninja got paid $1 million to play Apex Legends day one,
Yeah.
just for a stream. For one stream, $1 million. Here you go. That's insane.
That's good use of money on their part, though, because Apex blew up for a while. And what's interesting is seeing Apex blow up again. Now, I tried playing Apex the other day, and maybe I would fare better on a controller because I quit playing mouse and keyboard for 8 or 9 years. I know you've always been with controller,
Yep.
but back in the day, I used to play Counter Strike Source, Quake, Unreal Tournament. I mean, ever since I was, yay tall,
Yeah.
on a mouse and keyboard. And I mean, I was really, really good at it. But then, I moved away from home, got a PlayStation, ended up playing the PlayStation a lot more. Didn't upgrade my PC, so I couldn't really play anything modern for a while. And, now I've gone back to PC, but at this point, it's been like 8 or 9 years
Hmm.
since I really used a mouse and keyboard for gaming. And that is absolutely something that you cannot do if you expect to be good at it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So, what about this hazard zone mode? What have you heard about it?
So evidently, let me get ready to pull this up. So evidently it's a cross, like, so it's based in Battlefield. Obviously, it's like a sandbox battle royale kind of thing, but it's like a mixture. Reports are saying it's supposed to be a mixture of like Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. And that's very interesting to me. Because Escape from Tarkov can seem very unapproachable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to play that game casually. You're not going to play that game and like not sweat. You see larger creators like Dr. Lupo goes in and like appears to play casually, but he's also cracked out of his mind. So like his casual gameplay is pardon. His casual gameplay is leagues better than what you or I are going to perform in a game, right? But
Yeah.
they're saying um bu- 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 bu-
I think that if they can pull off something that's Tarkov and Hunt Showdown esque, particularly, and probably they're getting the modern day aspects from Tarkov, but they're probably taking gameplay style from Hunt Showdown, you know. I think if
so
they can pull that off, I mean, that is just going to be such a good game. And that's going to hopefully make up for the debacle that was Battlefield 5 because that game was not good.
so there is some sort of data miner. His Twitter handle is Temporal.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on yet, though the data gathered suggests players will be collecting intel from various data drives and crashed satellites once they've been dropped onto the map. Tactical upgrades will be available to aid with issues like losing your equipment, plus ones presumably for general exploration and fighting. It will also include some points of interest like ammo stations and areas where you can get a cool ass robot dog or ATV. Some PvE incidents will dot around the map too, with AI soldiers patrolling with help of tanks or helicopters. Temporal said they may be able to call for reinforcements with additional AI bosses who might be there for extra rewards and objectives. I'm assuming where that's the Hunt Showdown comparison came in.
Mm-hmm.
All of this will also make use of Battlefield's existing maps with no suggestion of an dedicated hazard zone map. Battlefield 2042's orbital map will have built-in support for the mode, presumably with others following suit. And they just finished a round of playtesting. So
I'm gonna come out and say that I think we need to pre-order this.
I was planning on it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I actually like Battlefield. I really like Battlefield. Like
Yeah,
the
well, I like it too. I think the last one I played was 3. I might
I
have
played
played 4.
Battlefield 1, the World War II or the
Yeah.
World War One, one that they did a few years ago. I played that one, and it was
Yeah.
insane. Like that was insane. I can't imagine going into a PvP match with 120 people.
I remember in Battlefield 3 they had flashlight attachments for your guns, and they actually functioned the way a flashlight attachment on a gun is meant to function in real life, because it's not so much for you to see it as it is for you to disorient other people. So if you're, in a dark hallway, you can put on this, this flashlight, and it's going to blind those people at the end of the hallway. So it would give you like the lens flare and the whole nine.
That's cool.
So yeah. So I think they've always been a little bit above Call of Duty in like the ideas of their gameplay. So I think if they can just nail the fun factor of this, and to me, we talked a little bit the other day. I don't know how much people heard of it because, it was in the Borked audio section of our YouTube.
Did you like the title of our last?
Yeah. But
for the record, everyone, we were planning on re-recording it, and I unilaterally, so blame Sunbro, made the decision that I was just going to upload that. We were going to take the L on episode 16. But episode 17, just so you know, we have confirmed everything is working as intended.
I'm glad you did, because I didn't confirm anything.
I did.
Anyway, I totally forgot where I was going with that. So, but yeah, I think that if they can just nail that fun factor. Oh, I remember where I was going. Everything that's been coming out for a while now has felt very uninspired to me. Look no further than the Fortnite Among Us thievery. And that's everything that's going on in the gaming industry right now. So you got a million battle royales. You got your standard Call of Duty coming out every year. You got all your sports titles coming out every year. You got Nintendo releasing new versions of the same old games that they always release.
No. Have you seen the new Pokemon gameplay?
So I just don't have time for something like that anymore. I don't have time. I've got The Witcher 3 sitting right next to me, brand new, unopened. It was given to me as a gift. Literally don't even have time to play that game.
It's a really good game.
I'm sure it is. I don't have time to play the game. I don't have 150 hours laying around to dump into a game. Also, I just don't like Pokemon that much anymore.
It looks so. It's actually open world. Like in the trailer, there was a Pokemon literally charging down a player, and the player has to like duck roll out of the way. There's another thing where like a player jumps off a cliff. They pull out a Pokemon like holding a glider, and they're gliding down with this flying Pokemon like holding them on a bar. Bro, it looks. If they pull this off, because the previous footage that they had released of this was like rough. If they pull off the game that they are currently advertising, it is truly innovative. It is the biggest innovation in a Nintendo game in the last 30 years. Easily.
What I'm wondering is what took them so long.
They didn't have to. It was need.
What do you mean they didn't have to?
They could release an entire Pokemon game where all of the sprites are literal pieces of poo, but give them all different names and put it in a new region and it will be one of the number one selling games that year.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
It's
talking
Pokemon.
about. Everything is so uninspired to the point that now they're releasing games that should have been made 10 years ago. Skyrim came out 10
Well,
years
I
ago.
know this will give you the warm and fuzzies, but they're actually re-releasing a special edition this year of Skyrim for something or another, and they
Thank God.
updated fishing.
Thank God.
What would we do?
I need more arrow in the knee jokes in my life.
Well, I mean, it's like there was a game developer that had said, like, look, if you guys want us to stop making Skyrim reboots, you have to stop buying them.
That's true. I mean, market forces really determine everything, but I can tell you, I was very disappointed in the Mass Effect remake or remaster, whatever it was. I don't even know which one it was. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition really turned me off from buying re-releases of anything.
Would
I
you, at
buy
some
the Dead
point,
Space re-release just for you because I never played the original, so I won't know the difference. But Mass Effect was to me a joke when they re-released it.
would you be down at some point to do a co-op playthrough of Skyrim on PC with like mods to like update, like to do it up, modern graphics and everything?
There's only one mod that I need in that game,
Is it the
and that
Macho
is
Man Randy Savage
that is
one?
the Macho Man Randy Savage mod.
Oh yeah,
Oh
brother.
yeah! The cream rises to the top.
Oh. So, while we're laughing, we might as well keep laughing. So, okay, I'm going to set the scene for you, okay? You're in a gaming tournament. You're gaming. You're hitting your gamer moves. It's a League of Legends tournament, for the record, for everyone. And, you're going through, you're winning games, and then, man, you get knocked out. You're heartbroken. Well, you know what's worse than losing a tournament? Having a police officer that's also playing in that tournament recognize your name, recognize that you're a wanted criminal, and then waiting for you to finish your match that you lost, and then arresting you at your desk.
Is that Tom Segura in your watch next?
That's Tom Segura on Hot Ones, yeah.
Is that Gordon Ramsay right below?
Yep. Yeah, I watched a lot of Hot Ones. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. And here they are, like taking this poor young man to jail after he just lost a tournament.
Do you know what's more embarrassing than getting arrested? Being at a LAN cafe in a League of Legends tournament.
I think oh no, I didn't want to. Okay, there we go. I think it's a little more normal over like in China and in the West or in the East, sorry. It's West if you go far enough, but in the East.
I mean, I'm glad that being embarrassing is more normal in their culture.
No, why I think you would call it embarrassing just because of like we're used to gaming in our office rooms, but like that's an amenity. I was watching a Linus Tech Tips video one time, and he was I think he was in South Korea at like some tech expo, and the hotel they put him up at had a LAN center there with top end PCs ready to game. You'd like log into your Steam account, it'd temporarily log you in. You'd have access to all your games, and you
Yeah.
just game.
My knock is not against the LAN cafes, it's against League of Legends and the fact that I would never play that game in private, let alone in a public setting.
What's wrong with League of Legends?
I just don't like those games, man. I don't like those
MOBAs?
games. No, I did.
Oh, so
Dude,
you haven't checked out. I take it you
remember
haven't
when
checked
those
out Pokemon Unite.
they were a Warcraft 3 map back in the day. I remember playing them when they were a Warcraft 3 map, and then they spun into their own games. And I don't like them, man. I just don't like the idea of it. That's
For
just
the record, Pokemon Unite is a lot of fun.
I'm sure it is.
There's nothing more fun than getting your Ghastly fully evolved to a Gengar, getting the right attacks, and then just absolutely dumpstering kids. We were we were watching Heather's niece a few weeks ago, and Heather was like, "Why didn't you play with her?" And I was like, "She probably will not have a good time playing a MOBA against people that are like sweating." And there were reports when the game released, there were like adults playing it just mopping kids, just like mopping the floor with kids that had no idea what was going on in a MOBA.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Eating. Christmas morning Call of Duty eating.
No thanks. That's all, y'all. I don't know. I'm just like,